Woke liberals are freaking out over what's coming out of the nation of Uganda. We're going to see the anti-LGBT law that was just passed. We're going to see the threats coming from the Biden administration against it. And we're going to see why it's all too little too late. A new conservative age has already arrived. The Ugandan parliament overwhelmingly passed a bill that will in effect ban LGBT identity politics from their nation. It also imposes severe punishments for violations related to same-sex relations. More than 30 African countries, including Uganda, already ban same-sex relations, but this bill takes things to another level and clearly seems aimed at expelling what is seen as Western liberal values from their nation. The BBC is reporting that lawmakers are going after identity. So it's not merely the practice, as it were, but more the lifestyle, indeed the ideology that both converge in LGBT identity politics that becomes so rampant in Western liberal nations. Uganda appears to want absolutely nothing to do with it. Here's some highlights from the proceedings.
House will not shy to restrict any right to the extent of the House recognizes, protects, and safeguards the sovereignty of this country, the morals of this country, the cultures, and will always legislate for our people. That is what the majority have done today in this House, the 389 members of Parliament.
We will have our morals. We will protect our children. And we are making this law. We are making this law for ourselves. We are making this law for our children. We are making this law for the children of our children. This country will stand firm. And once it passed, I can tell you, Madam Speaker, we are going to reinforce the law enforcement officers to make sure that homosexuals have no space in Uganda.
Well, the bill ended up passing overwhelmingly, and it now heads to the desk of the president of Uganda, who supports the bill and has promised to sign it. Needless to say, the Biden administration is utterly freaking out.
I want to say one thing at the top. We have grave concerns with the passage of the Anti-Homosexuality Act, AHA, by the Parliament of Uganda yesterday, and increasing violence targeting LGBTQI plus persons. If the AHA is signed into law and enacted, it would impinge upon universal human rights, jeopardize progress in the fight against HIV/AIDS, deter tourism, and invest in Uganda and damage Uganda's international reputation. The bill is one of the most extreme anti-LGBTQI plus laws in the world. Human rights are universal. No one should be attacked, imprisoned, or killed simply because of who they are or whom they love.
Well, that is the utterly predictable, and I have to say, just rather frankly bland response from the White House that seemingly has no clue of what's happening here. And I have to say, I really believe that our secular aristocracy embedded in their ivory towers of our neo-feudalized society in the West here has absolutely no idea of what's happening in the world. But that's why I'm here. That's why we're here. Look, what's going on in Uganda is not unique. It is not the exception. No question, its proposed penalties are certainly on the more extreme side of the spectrum, but the spectrum itself is more and more the global rule, not the exception. What we have to come to terms with is that the backlash against LGBT identity politics is a very real one, and it's happening all over the world. And this is key. It's even happening within the Democratic Party. We saw this a few months back in an explosive local school board meeting in the city of Dearborn, Michigan. Dearborn happens to be the most densely Muslim-populated area in the United States, and this is the scene of what happened when parents got word that books involving explicit LGBT content were being given to their kids in school. This was the result.
Vote them out! 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 Vote them out!
Now, keep in mind, this was happening in one of the bluest of blue districts in the entire nation. Dearborn votes 70% Democrat. And this district that votes 70% Democrat is rising up and pushing back against one of the other major constituencies of the Democratic Party. And that, of course, is, in this case, the LGBT community. So if this backlash against LGBT identity politics is happening inside the very political party that pretends to be its greatest defender, how much more should we expect it to pervade the world? And that's, of course, exactly what we're seeing. It's not just Uganda. Wait until you hear what the president of Kenya is saying. It's going to absolutely blow your mind. But first, gang, I know with all the chaos around us, bank closings, riots, economic collapses, indictments, it's easy to feel discouraged, confused, defeated. But in all reality, as I show each and every one of you, it's all nothing more than the last grasp of a dying liberal order trying to desperately hold on as long as they can. All my research is pointing to the fact that the whole liberal world is falling apart, and it's more possible than ever to escape that liberal world order. But now I have a question for you. What do you want to see in terms of resources and strategies for that escape? You see, over the last month, I've been researching all these ways to help you escape this woke insanity with your family and with your sanity intact. So what I'm doing is I'm compiling all this research into a step-by-step guidebook to help you feel encouraged and weather the storm. But first, I want to hear from you about what you'd like to see addressed in this resource. So all you have to do is just comment down below or send me an email directly at steve@turleytalks.com to let me know your thoughts. Together, we courageous patriots are rising up and saying no to the liberal world order once and for all. I can't wait to share this resource with you, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Here's CNN's Christian Anapor interviewing the newly elected president of Kenya, William Ruto, about his views on LGBT rights.
You yourself gained worldwide attention a few years ago when you said there was, quote, no room for homosexuality in Kenyan society. I want to know whether you still stand by that.
We have Kenyan law, we have Kenyan constitution, we have our tradition, we have our customs. We will continue to respect other people's customs as they respect our customs and our tradition. I am very clear that we respect everybody and what they believe in, but we also have what we believe in, and we expect to be respected for what we believe in.
Well, there you have it. I mean, the nation of Kenya has its own laws. We have our own constitution. We have our own traditions and customs. We will certainly respect other people's customs, but only as long as they respect ours. We absolutely respect everyone, but we in turn expect to be respected for what we believe in. In other words, who the hell are you, CNN, to tell us Kenyans how to live? Who are you to lecture us on human rights? And of course, what President Ruto is doing there is he's speaking on behalf of the whole non-Western world, nearly 90% of the world's population. The backlash against LGBT identity politics is massive. Russian legislators are even now passing a bill that would ban all pro-LGBT propaganda from the entire nation. Hungary, under the leadership of the extremely popular Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who won 4 back-to-back landslide elections in a row, they've enacted laws banning schools from using materials seen as promoting homosexuality and pro-LGBT values to students. In China, new media standards have established throughout the nation banning what media regulators call, I kid you not, sissy idols and effeminate men. Even the nation of Japan, one of America's staunchest allies, Japan's courts have consistently banned same-sex marriage. I haven't even brought up the Middle East. We're talking whole continents who are pushing back against this. This is the new geopolitical reality. Whether our liberal Western government elites like it or not, they've lost. They've lost the world. The world we're entering into is a new conservative age, traditionalist, nationalist, civilizationalist. And whether anyone likes it or not, LGBT identity politics doesn't particularly fit in a renewed traditionalist, highly religious age like the one we're entering. So they can virtue signal, they can grandstand, they can make all the threats they want. All it's doing is driving the member nations of that traditionalist world closer together. A new conservative age is here. Unfortunately, our woke liberal leaders will be the last to recognize it. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Kari Lake scoring a huge win with the Arizona Supreme Court. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.